Okay, perfect. Hello, Colleen. Hi, Colleen.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Good. And yourself?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Getting started.
Good.
Okay. Okay, first of all, for those that are watching the playback, and I haven't posted this yet, but Christy Spaniel has already made Performance Club for the month. So, of course, that woman shares without ever second guessing herself. So congratulations, Christy, on Performance Club. And then I wanted to remind you guys that the tracker is out. I just posted it today, and I just think this is something, it's really beneficial when you have this visual in front of you as just kind of like a checkoff list. I mean, going after this trip, this is a dream location, and one that quite honestly, I didn't know existed. And then when I looked it up, I was like, I couldn't believe that it was real. So, and it's one that I just really want you guys to believe is possible for you, because the tracking we're doing right now is based on activity. They're not talking about the next rank. They're not talking about, getting to the next rank. It's about your activity, and it's based on enrollment. So I really hope that you utilize that. And the one thing I wanted to remind you of too, I think it's only for new customers now that I say this, I don't remember. But if you have been working and utilizing Axio samples, that is not a new customer when they get a sample, right? If you have a new friend that is utilizing the samples and then they want to upgrade, that's a new customer, and getting them on the Axio and Nerf 2 pack, there's a point already, right? So really use this month to kind of lay the foundation to get some of those extra points to take you into next month. It doesn't matter what the points mean right now. They're giving us a head start to get going on points. So what if for the first time ever, you believed that you could fly around the world and go to a place that you didn't know existed, maybe some of you will, and really experience it in a big way? I want you to believe that. Okay, so I am going to play for you guys a training that I was blessed to be a part of last week that Blue Elam did. And he talks about belief. He talks about kind of the foundation of this is Blue talking about the 4 pillars and the 4 things that we really need to have belief in. And they always talk about this at LVAs. That is the business, or our company, LifeVantage. It's the industry of network marketing, the products that we have, and then most importantly, yourself. And that is where this starts off. I'm going to share with you this training, and I know you're going to get so much out of it. And then we'll come back and talk about it. It's a team act. Brent Liddell. Hello. It's a team act. Brent Liddell. Tanya, stop. Hello. It's a team act. Okay. Stop sharing. Am I still on Facebook? Okay. Hi. Okay, let's do this again. That happened last time, remember that? Like, I hear myself and I don't like it. Okay. Here we go.
Is belief in yourself, right? Man, there is nothing. If that's the only thing we could work on and grab, and if my entire network marketing experience helped me to believe in myself just a little bit more, then it was a complete success, right? Regardless how the products did, regardless how the comp plan paid me. But what seems to happen is when we work on ourselves and we become bigger and better, we seem to be able to run a larger business. We become the type of person that can run the business that we really want to have. And you've heard that quote a lot from me, but that's really how I feel. The more we work on ourselves, the bigger we are, the more character we have, the ability to solve problems and to find optimism in all things and get rid of the pessimism. And we just start to attract a different type of person. Our exposure rate may go up, but more than that, the percentage of conversions from those exposures becomes higher. And we go down a road of success. And it's typically when we figure out and get our mind in the right place. So it's one of the reasons we wanted just to kind of talk about these things today. Think about it, those 4 things are a base, right? Everything your team's doing, the incentive ideas and trips that are coming up. You guys are going to get to hear some of that at the end of this call. But everything that's coming up seems to build upon those 4 things. If you can hold on to that, you're going to have a belief level that's unshakable. 2 things. I'm going to switch back to this screen for a second. And I want to answer one question that I think helps. And this talks about your circle of influence. Okay. You have a circle of influence around you. And this popped in my mind. I don't know if it's maybe for someone on this call or just myself, but this helps me the most to get my mind right when I start thinking of this. Because too many times I want to go outside of this circle, and you can, and there's success there. And there's people that will train you how, and I just won't be one. I'm not very good at working outside of my circle of the influence I already have, my network. Now I can expand my network. When I became a firefighter, it got bigger, right? When I became, with LifeVantage, it became bigger. I got more family. I got more people that are closer and closer. Because to me, those close rings in the middle of that are very close to you. They're in arm's reach. There's someone that they might be at your house having a barbecue. They're the gals that show up at your house, open the fridge, open the cookie jar, pour themselves a glass of milk, and they're comfortable, right? Those are friends. And then you work your way out to this yellow line that is just people that you know, and it's the guy in the blue shirt at the bank, right? There's some circle there, there's just not a connection. But if you learn to work in this circle, develop the circles, push them people into the middle of the circles by being who you are and becoming and believing in yourself, then what starts to happen is you start to find successes. Too many people come to me and say, I just moved into a fire station. What do I say? I'm going to go knock on the door tomorrow. And my first caution is, well, there's better ways to get in the fire station, because I know what they're going to say and do when you knock on the door. No matter how good your presentation is, how good your product is, whatever, it's going to be a little paper airplane made out of your business card, and it is what it is, right? But if we work our circles, right? And in a case very specifically, a lady wanted this advice. We talked to her. She worked in her circles. She found a friend of hers. Turned out that friend's grandson had just got on the fire department. 4 months later, she was or her son, I believe. 4 months later, she was in the firehouse doing a meeting for the whole station because someone who worked there invited the captain, the chief, and some workers to listen to what was going on, the products in the business. And it was an effective way to expand your circle of influence, right? You enroll someone in your circle, then they have rings outside of your circle. Ironically, though, some of those circles will be back in your space. And a lot of times the brother, uncle, cousin that seemed close to you will finally join your business through someone else because of their circle of influence, which is just another reason we think this way. But can you imagine if you work this way, what happens when we start to build and our personals work themselves out, their personal. Pretty soon, we ended up with a business in Japan and a business in Australia and a business in Canada. I mean, that doesn't happen because I have best friends at those places. It becomes real because we have circles of influence and our circles increase. And what happens when we, right, connect those dots all over different legs of our business, right? If I could somehow, I tried in this picture to put our business in perspective, in my opinion, as to where it's been, where it's going, how secure it is, and how some of those things, all those things we hope for, happens when we work within our little circle. And then our personals know them and them. And it's just that concept. And our minds can be right if we can pull things in and focus within our circles. Now, those that are effective, I'm not trying to change anything you're doing. Those of you that are effective at working outside and getting online and meeting people and doing that, I'm just suggesting that when you meet them, they're part of your circles and you can work with them. And it's so much easier to work in those little environments. Now, one more mindset. When I hear the word mindset, this is the most important thing I teach the new person, to try to help them understand the process. More importantly, they're not to get discouraged and to set realistic and proper goals. And I call it the rule of 3, which was funny. Scott, you talked about the power of 3 early in this call. This rule of 3 is something that I think is amazing. I'm just going to throw it at you. You can put it in perspective if talk or this gathering concept is online, or your neighbor knocking on your neighbor's door, or living rooms, however you want to put that in perspective. But the reality is you have to talk to someone before you're going to show them what we're doing. You have to show them before they're going to enroll, and they have to enroll before they become a builder or a leader. That process is in stone, okay? There's a database involved, there's an invite involved, there's a conversation, an ITT, or showing them the PowerPoint, or tear off page, whatever your process, but this has to take place, right? Then they have to enroll, and too many people drop them there. They don't get them all the way to the builder. But let me run some numbers by you. And this is just, I'll say polling or asking some of the top leaders in the company. This is the reality of what happens with this, right? I believe it's the rule of three. I'll fast forward this a little bit just so we can see the concept. But I believe it's going to take 30 people you talk to show 10, to enroll 3, to probably identify the 1. Now, these numbers are higher or lower. I know some of you guys that percentages are amazing, right? Your personality is different. Maybe you've developed your invite better, or you're more confident. I don't know what it is, but I've seen some other people that are so far at the other end, talk to hundreds and I can't find anyone, right? Like, I'm just putting it out there. But the reality is, this is where we typically end up after time and attending events and becoming someone, what I would call some of a network marketer in that field. We can talk to a percentage. Rule of three will say that about a third of those will show, about a third of those will get involved, and about a third of those will stay and become what I would consider a leader, okay, a runner. Now, all you got to do is start tripling these numbers, adding zeros, to realize that the workload is real, right? What is it when we get to, sorry about that. This last slide I wanted to pull up. All right, can you guys still see that?
No.
No, we can't. We
All
just
right.
see your smiling face.
Well, that might be all you get for just a second. I know it's not. There you go.
We love it.
So all I was gonna do is stop here for a second, because you saw the hundreds, right? 300 to show 100, to find the 30, to find the 10. Guys, it is real, okay? And it is hard sometimes to imagine. But the earlier I get this into someone's hands and help their mindset become this. Now think about it. When you tell someone early on, if you just blasted them with this and say, guys, 300 people you got to talk to show enough, to enroll enough, to go. Most people go, man, I don't know if I want to do that. But what if we help them realize, right? What are the incomes or the success in people that do that? Let's go look at the income statement form. These, start talking to your Pro 10s, your Pro 9s, Pro 8s. Ask them realistically how many they have enrolled and how many leaders that they have personally. Now, their teams have duplicated and so on. You're going to find some patterns. You're going to find, 30, 40, 50 key people that will lead to 10, 15, 20 key leaders. And it is awesome. Now, I'm not talking, some are hyper enrollers and have done more. Some have done more to find less. It just depends. But you're going to find an average. And this is talking to Tyler and Marcel, and you thought that leadership group that I would call grow up with. This is what we did. And that 100 is scary. 300 is even more scary. But what if you put it in this term? What if you talk to one person a day for a year, and we gave you 2 months off to have the successes here? Now, most people are going to school for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, 12 years, get a degree to even come close to some of the incomes that you might have in the elite circles and the master circles. So if you can turn something that sounds scary and realistically show them and set their mindset up early, help them see that there's going to be work. I'm going to have to learn to present. I'm going to have to learn to take someone from just an enrollment to an actual builder. There's skills involved with that. It's not just a video at that point, you guys. ITT is amazing, but once they're in, there's more than just ITT to helping them become a network marketer, become someone who can do this long-term. Okay, so there's a process to that. So I just want to point that out, because I think that's powerful. Let me go, I guess it went back one too far on me. So just to put the numbers there, and this is just a fun way to make it visual, but don't stop at the visual. Make sure they understand what that means to them. Most people negotiate the price of success so long that they would have been there by now if they would have just paid it. For those of you that have been involved for more than a year, what if we show these statistics, help you talk to 300, do 100 presentations in a living room or whatever it look like, and they got it. You had that many people sign up from that 30, you found 10 runners, and those 10 runners became 10 elites, right?
Hey, Blue, can you put up that one where it said 100, 300, and 100, because it just flew up really quickly. Thanks.
Yeah, I was clicking through. Let me see if I can. Yeah, it may. Yes. Let me see if it'll be there. Yeah, it's not coming back up. Sorry, I'd have to click back there. I just got a minute or two left. I can get it to you, Michael, if you need it, but let me just say this. The main idea though is it's all about mindset. I mean, you can put your own numbers even to this, but what I'm trying to do is help you understand that when we taught our initial group of enrollment, or we enrolled 25 people in 90 days, you guys, and that was a hard 90 days and a 90-day push. Then we have 25 people wanting to do the same thing. Okay, I can't just go knock on 25 more doors, so to speak, and leave them alone. We have to change and evolve and grow and become a presenter, become a mentor, not just an inviter and an enroller. We already own that. We don't ever give it up. We don't ever leave it, but you own a skill, you develop another skill, you add it to your skill base, you become a mentor, you add it to your skill base so that your exposure rate can go up. Because if you're the only one inviting on your team, you're limited to the number of people you're going to touch. If 10 people are doing those 15 presentations, you had 150 presentations going on, what happens is your exposure rate goes up. You want to do those things to help, but being skill set, I'm trying to keep that down a little bit and focus on mindset. It's the negotiation in our minds. I'm going to negotiate my way out of a certain pack that's too much money, of 300 people because that's too many. If we can not negotiate and just pay the price, I bet there's people, even on this call, right? You guys are runners, but even on this call, you thought, man, if I would have just paid that price earlier and got to those events sooner and talked to that 300 yesterday, I may already be, and I'm not saying done. I mean, even as an executive, I don't feel done, but I feel in a good place to support and help and spend time with my family if needed. You know, we had that car accident. My daughters needed me to be home and I could be there. And that's because we dug the well when things were okay. Not perfect. Don't wait for them to be perfect because they never will be. But go to work right now, dig the well. Don't wait till you're thirsty to start digging, because I'm from Arizona and it's too dry. You start digging after you're thirsty, you're going to die before you get to water, right? Things are okay. They seem chaotic, but I guarantee they're okay right now, better than they were last year. And we have a window to go run and stop negotiating and build and take off and become, right? Lead, build, become. We need to become the person that we know and we want our business to own.
Okay, wasn't that so good? So good. He's such an incredible speaker. So just some takeaways from it. The belief in self is it's critical. It's the foundation, and the belief in ourself, when we have it, we have higher conversions, right? So that the 30, 10, 3, 1 becomes more realistic when you have the belief in yourself. But here's the thing. Are you going to have belief in yourself if you just plug in every once in a while? If you just decide that you're ready to invite every once in a while? It doesn't grow us enough, right? It doesn't get us to be a part of that income disclosure statement that are the 5-figure earners and up. It requires pushing ourselves to the point where we can feel our heart beating out of our chest. That's what it requires. And the more you push through that, it's just like if you're working out, right? You go in and you work out and you feel like, I remember the first time we did CrossFit, Kyle and I got into the car and he's like, you understand that I might die the next time we do this. Like, he felt like there was no chance for him to become a CrossFitter, but he kept going back. And every time he went back, he left and he felt better. And then he felt better. And then all of a sudden he was gaining muscle mass and he just got leaner. Like, it's because he kept going back, even though he didn't want to, and even though he was afraid that he might die, right? So, but he didn't die, and we're not going to die talking to people, right? And when we're trying to get those statistics, when we are trying to get more customers and more distributors, or most of my invites in this last week were to get people to an event we have here Friday night. It doesn't work for me to reach out to somebody once, to reach out and do one reach out and then say, did it, and then like take a break. Like, because I did it, you feel good and you're proud of yourself and you're confident. So what should you do? You should do it again. And then you should do it again. And then you should do it again, because no one picks up the phone if you're calling. No one messages you right back. Like, it's just you sharing. That's the world we live in, right? So keep doing it over and over, because you're lifting your excitement and your energy as you do it. And that's only going to feed the possibility of a higher conversion rate for you. So when you make the time to do those invites, make time to do at least 3, right? Imagine, like he said, 1 a day for a year and you get 2 months off and you've invited 300 people. You guys, right? I mean, come on. And then he also talked about the circle. Like, Blue doesn't use social media, and we're not a huge social media team in Team Act, right? We talk about it, we do it. Some of us utilize it, and some of us tiptoe in it, and some of us don't. And that is okay, because when all is said and done, even if you're showing up on social media, it is about the relationship, okay? And I've said this before, but now more than ever, you need to go to that events tab on your Facebook and you need to find out what's happening locally in your area. And if you are invited to something, you need to go. You need to make the time to go. In this book that I'm reading, she even says, she talked about saying yes. And she said, if you're the person that likes to get invited, but doesn't want to show up, there's going to come a point where the invitations aren't going to come anymore. So you need to say yes, and then you need to follow through and show up. Today, I went to this thing midday. It was 90 degrees, smoky and hot. I didn't want to go, but one of the gals I knew, I'd had a one-on-one with her before, and one of them was brand new. I didn't know her. I did not go with the intent of talking about LifeVantage in any way, shape, or form. I went to have coffee and walk to the Capitol with them. And you know what happened? I made a great new relationship with the girl I didn't know, and now she wants to go on a walk again. But the other thing that happened was, because she got to know me, she found me on Facebook, and then she friended me. And I'm sure she didn't just send a request. I'm sure she scrolled through to see, who the heck is this girl really, right? So she's going to have an idea of what I do. And then she'll probably maybe bring it up next time. And then I'll openly tell her what I do and a little bit about my story. Like, but that wouldn't have happened had I not shown up. There's this taco Mexican festival happening middle of the month. I'm going to go, right? I like tacos, so that's in my favor. But like, those are the things you have to do. If we continue to stay in our house and just post on social media and hope that somebody's going to reach out to us or reply to our polls, like, we're not going to build that quickly. We're just not unless you're like a Rachel Pekarik and you've been doing it for years, and none of us have. We have to remember that relationship is crucial, and think of the Blue Elam circle, because if you can find a few core people, if you can go back to a few core people that you knew before and tell them, look, I'm still in the thing, and I probably did the thing completely wrong the first time I talked to you, but I'm still in the thing and I still love the thing and I want you to know about the thing. Do you want to know about it? Ask them again. And sounds silly, sounds crazy, but tell that, like, share your belief. And he said earlier too in that training, even if you don't believe in every single product, find the one that you believe in with all your heart. Right now, I believe in daily wellness with all my flipping heart. Like, everybody needs daily wellness, people. It is insane what that is doing. Like, what it does in my daughters. Here's the thing. My daughter was losing her voice, getting sick, blowing her nose, filled a thing with a tissue box with tissues she'd used. I was making her daily wellness twice a day. Today, she was fine. Like, in less than 48 hours, it turned her around. That is not normal. That doesn't happen. That hasn't happened before. It extends longer. And even then, before daily wellness, I thought she still got over it quickly because of Protandim. But now it's like ninja quick because of daily wellness. So find the one thing that you love, or Axio or whatever, and hold on to that belief. Don't think you have to love all of it. And it's the same if you don't have a personal story. Like he said, Use the story of the guy that was a fireman whose family didn't believe in him, but decided that he could try to be an entrepreneur. And because he did it, when his family got in a car accident and his two daughters were paralyzed and his wife lost a leg, he paid for every single hospital bill. And now he can live a life that anyone could possibly dream of. That's Blue Elam's story. He's like, use mine. Don't think you have to have this phenomenal story. And then also in this book, another thing I wanted to read to you guys says, just ask. When you find someone you want to get to know better, just ask if they'd like to connect. Do you want to get a cup of coffee tomorrow afternoon? Have you ever checked out the hiking trail behind our neighborhood? Do you and your husband like to play board games? Would you like to meet up for dinner before Bible study next week? People are open. Like this chick that I met tonight, she just moved up from Dallas, Texas. She's been here 2 months and she was scared to death about having to start over and make friendships as an adult woman. But because she plugged into a local networking group, she had women from all over suddenly asking her to go have coffee. People are looking for connection. It may look like on their Facebook posts that they're good and they have plenty of friends, but I'm telling you, people are lonely. They want to talk. They want someone that will listen. And if you just show up and just do that in your first meet, and then you're showing up on social media by being a loving person, they're going to want to know you more. They're going to be interested. But it doesn't mean you have to show up the first time with your business card talking about Nerf2 and glutathione and blah, blah, blah. You just don't. And if it doesn't go as fast as you want because you're doing it that way, well, then that's the way it's supposed to be. That's the way God intended it. He wants you to serve and make relationships first. Okay. He wants you to be in gratitude and serve. And then the other thing she talks about with asking, it comes to the point of you guys, and if you're struggling, if something's not going your way, if you're unsure about what to say to somebody, like Crystal, she's been not blowing up my phone, but what do I say? I got this guy. Like, that's what, like, do that thing when you're struggling. Just text me. Because if you're not asking, then how are you going to get the help that you need? She says, ask until asking no longer makes you cringe. Ask until asking no longer makes you cringe, right? Asking with confidence, knowing that it's a good thing I'm asking because that shows me as a squeaky wheel in Tanya's business. That shows me as a squeaky wheel in the Pose business. Like asking is a good thing. I'm showing myself to them. I'm showing that I'm working. I'm showing that I need help. You have to ask. And then the other thing, last thing in this book, she talks about be all of you fast. Our spiraling thoughts of isolation threaten to keep us trapped in a place of self-sufficiency and shame. But vulnerability brings those to a screeching halt. So be all of you right away so that your friends get you, the real you. One thing about this, and I mean, I'm preaching to the choir here when I read this, because I remember when I first walked into this networking group that I wanted to be a part of, I walked in with my guard up, my hands were like this, I don't know you people, do you like me? Am I gonna like you? You're really threatening to me. This is super intimidating. You guys are all very successful. That's how I felt. But the more quickly you're yourself and you let yourself be free and ask the stupid questions and get up and say the stupid things or try to be funny and then you're not, the more you find your people, the quicker you find your people. Otherwise, you're rocking around being someone that you're not, and then you're not going to build anything authentically with anybody, right? She said, in such brave endeavors, we may scare off the wrong people sooner, but we'll bring in the right people more quickly. So, like I said, when you're inviting people, things like that, do it wrong. Do it in a way where you sound crazy and you make fun of yourself for sounding nervous. Be the one that stands out instead of the typical network marketer that they expect to hear on the other side. That's it was nice to connect with you. I have a product that I blah, blah, blah. That's what they expect to hear. Don't be that person. Just be authentically you. Have you ever had those moments where I'm going to Vegas at the end of this month? with my sister, my cousin, and my three cousins and my two sisters. Do you know how excited I am to go? Because I know that with 1,000% assurity, I can be freely me. I can act like a 12-year-old, like I like to do sometimes, and they will too, because that's just who we are. Like we all get each other and it's not a big deal. Like imagine if you allowed yourself to be that every single day freely, right? We're all still kids inside. We're just aging and we're forced to be adults, but it doesn't mean we still can't like tap into the inner kid. And again, the sooner we do, the sooner we're going to find our people. And you might be surprised, there's more of your people out there than you realize. But you're too busy to trying to be perfect or be somebody you think they want you to be, when in fact they just want you to be you. They just want you to be real and authentic. So show up that way sooner rather than later. Okay, then the last thing is, let me make sure I have everything. On Wednesday night, 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, this is going to be super good, but I want you to be prepared. This has been marketed as for Pro 3s and up. It will be Carrie Williams and Sean Poe talking about the business centers. But it has been posted in the One Person Telegram thread. If you believe you can plug into this and allow it to create a vision for you of what you could have without completely overwhelming you, plug in. If you believe you will plug in and be overwhelmed and overthink it and it'll be too much, don't worry about it, right? I didn't understand business centers until it was time for me to have one. I just want you to know that is happening Wednesday. And then the last thing is I had posted a little thing, what do you call it? A poll about some 30-minute workouts, like us getting together 30 minutes at a time during the week and just working, like a guided 30 minutes of just inviting and getting it done and knocking it out, whether we invite to the next meeting or whatever it is, we're inviting and we're working, we're doing income producing activities. And I think an hour is maybe becoming too much for people. And so a lot of people didn't plug into that. There's a gal, Josie Tong, under Rachel and Tara, I believe. She's killing it right now. And so I reached out to her and I'm like, I know there are no secrets, but what is your secret? But she did say one of them was they are doing these 30-minute strategies of working together. So my thought was to do 4 a week. And then we would have 3 in the evening. We will not do a Monday night. There's enough going on, but like 3 in the evenings and then 1 in the day. How does that sound to you guys? That sound good? I just think evenings are what people need because people are working and we didn't do that a lot before. So the 1 in the day would be on Wednesdays at 11:30 around a lunchtime. And then the evenings, probably I'm thinking like 7:30-ish Mountain Time, maybe 8 Mountain Time, maybe 7:30 for East Coast people. I don't want to go too late. But I do know that people are on Facebook late. All of my messages that I send, they get replied to late at night. So I think it's a good time to be on and get some interaction, to be honest. So if that sounds good to you guys, I think that's what we will do. I would love to start it. Well, I'm going to start it this week. Today is Tuesday. So tomorrow, and I can't start tomorrow, but we'll start Thursday. We will start this Thursday and we will do power hours. I can't do Thursday. Look what I did to myself. Okay, we're going to figure this out. I'm going to post it. Stay tuned, but we're going to have 30-minute things. Even if I have to do wonky times this week, I want to get a couple in because I think it'll be important. So, okay. Anybody have anything before we wrap up? Okay. Before we pray, just a heads up. I think everybody except Sheila, don't feel bad about this. I'm just telling you. We have our WHAM meeting right after this. Sheila, you're welcome to stay on. But I think you guys will just stop the recording, just keep us on. We don't have to re-log in, but we will end in prayer first, okay? Okay. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for just the safety of our team over the weekend and just for these remarkable people that you brought into our lives and that we all get to do this incredible business together. Thank you for LifeVantage. We know you have your hand on this incredible company and we know so many phenomenal things are yet to come. Just help us to persevere, to stay consistent in our behaviors, and most importantly, to continue to build belief in ourselves because we know you above all have full belief in us. So help us to tap into that on a daily basis and do those behaviors and activities that will truly move us and our lives forward and really impact people in a big way. So we give everything back to you. And Lord, we also just continue to pray for our distributors and teammates and sidelines and cousins in Louisiana. We just lift them up to you and pray for their safety and that they get power sooner rather than later. And just any of our other team members. Oh, and Lord, we also pray for Ron Doberman out of Nebraska. Ron is on our team. And Lord, we lift him up to you and just pray for quick healing, that he will be blessed with friends and just really feel our love and feel your love. In your name, and for Joyce Wood as well, and her dad. We give them to you, Lord. In your name we pray, amen. Okay, had to get those in there. Okay, let me stop the recording.